Welcome back to another episode of the HawksFanTV podcast. I'm your host, Mac, joined by my co host, Alex. And I guess we are excited to bring you this week's episode. I know we've had a little bit of a hiatus, but Alex and I have had pretty hectic lives here soon. I'm sure you guys have seen. He just got announced that he's having a baby girl, which is super exciting. I was on my bachelor trip in New York City, checking out Trae Young's property over there at Madison Square Garden. So life's been a little bit hectic for us, but we are able to get an episode recorded for you guys this week. And at least I don't know what's happening, Alex. It seems like every time we record, we're recording after a win, whether it may be a 4 game losing streak heading into that win. At least the last game the Hawks played against the Raptors, we were able to win. So, but I will say that's a 1 point win against a shorthanded Raptors team. So we'll dive deeper into that in just a second. But other than that, Alex, how's everything been, man?
Yeah, it's like you said, man. It's been super hectic. Just a lot of things going on with our personal lives and all that craziness. So, yeah, we apologize for not staying consistent and getting more episodes out, but we're glad to be recording today. And like you said, we're coming off a win. It wasn't a pretty win, Mac. Certainly not a pretty win, but we got the win nonetheless. And win are very hard to come by these days. And so I'm just glad we were able to get some sort of momentum going as we play the Lakers tonight as our time of recording. So hopefully we can make it two in a row.
Yeah, no, man. I think the Lakers, they're in the same boat as us right now, where they are vastly underperforming their expectations this season. So honestly, man, we could sneak away with a win here tonight against the Lakers. But going back to that Raptors game, as I mentioned previously, guys, we were coming in on a 4 game losing streak, which was our second 4 game losing streak of the year, and we won by a point against a shorthanded Raptor teams to avoid our second 5th game losing streak of the year. That's right, the Hawks have losing streaks of 3, 4, 4, and 5 now, which is just it is what it is, guys. It's we've had some rough times here this season so far, but we it was a very exciting end, whether you're a Raptors fan or a Hawks fan. That was a very crazy end. Obviously, Sadiq Bey winning it for us with that putback with about, I think it was 1.1 seconds left. Trae Young almost lost it for us and almost won it for us, almost lost it for us, almost won it for us. So it was a very perplexing game, but I feel like it's a game that honestly embodies the entire season very well for the Atlanta Hawks. And I saw this stat, which it was down on my notes, but I just saw it. The 5th time this season that 4 of our players have recorded a double double. No other team in the NBA has done that once. I digged as deep as I could before this episode to find our record. I don't know what it is right now. I at least know there's one win in there. So I'll try and find that record for you guys. But yeah, no, it was a very perplexing game in all. And at the end of the day, I think it was a win that I was happy to get. I say that with that this look on my face, because at this point I don't even know anymore, man. I really don't. I don't know. So how are you feeling, Alex?
Yeah, it was an ugly game, Mac. The first quarter was really fun and exciting. We were up by double digits. The defense looked good. The offense was flowing, and it was a fun game, man. It was a fun game. And then as the game went on, we slowly started to lose our big cushion. Next thing you know, the game's tied, and then bam, the Raptors are ahead of us all of a sudden. And yeah, it came to the wire, and we luckily squeaked out a W. There was a report that came out on the last 2 minute report by the NBA officials, and they did at least admit that they got the call incorrectly when Trey turned it over, which led to that easy fast break dunk from Scotty Barnes. So yeah, that was should have been a foul. The ref officiating report did say that they missed that call, but hey, luckily for us, even despite that turnover, we were able to get the win. And it was by the unsung hero, Sadiq Bey, by all players. So that was fun. It was unexpected. If you would have told me, Sadiq Bey would have hit a game winning buzzer beater, to result in a 1 point victory against the Raptors going into the game, I would have called you crazy because I was like, there's no way that we go toe to toe with the Raptors. The Raptors are really bad, right? And it brings me joy to say that just because, given our history, Mac, we've always kind of had like a mini rivalry with the Toronto Raptor fan base, especially on Twitter and stuff like that. So it makes me happy when I see that they're not a good team. They're really bad this year, and that's not a knock on them. It's just the reality. But we have no room to talk. We are almost as bad, just as bad as them. So they were, at full strength. They're still a pretty bad team, but they were missing three starters, Mac. They were missing RJ. They were missing Emmanuel quickly, which hurt them a lot, obviously, and Jakob Pertl. And we were missing two starters, but still, we should have comfortably won this game. This is literally a microcosm of the entire season. We just aren't good. We are not even the fact that we're just not good or we're not even mid. We are literally bad this year. We're a bad basketball team. There's no sugarcoating it. We're not good. We can't play a lick of defense. Our offense is inefficient. Our guys that we're relying on to hit open shots and do the right things just aren't capitalizing on their opportunities. So yeah, with all things considered, we're a bad team, and us squeaking away a 1 point victory against the Raptors is nothing to be proud of, in my opinion. It just goes to show and it reemphasizes how bad this team truly is. And I don't know. I don't see us even sniffing close to 35, 36 wins this season. I think, you know, we might get. I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know if we're gonna have as many wins as Trey's rookie year, and that would be insane. Last thing I'm gonna say before I pass it back to you, and if you couldn't tell, I had some venting to do to get off my chest from this, just how this season's been going. But Sadiq Bey had a, I'll be the first to admit he had a good game the other night against the Raptors, right? Well, I don't want to say a good game. If you just looked at the box score, you would think he had a good game. And a lot of, people on Twitter and things like that were coming after me because I've been very critical of Sadiq Bey for the past, like, I don't know, 3, 4 weeks now. And now he hit the game winner. He had 26 points. People were coming at me on Twitter saying, "You see how good Sadiq Bey is? You see how valuable he is? This and that. And all you're doing is trashing him for the past 3, 4, 5 weeks." Look, Sadiq Bey had 26 points. He chipped in a lot of rebounds. He still shot 0 of 6 from three. He still shot, he missed 5 free throw attempts from the line. And again, 0 of 6 from three is the big indicator. We're not going to see Sadiq Bey consistently attack the rim and get, 12, 13 rebounds for us on a consistent basis. We did that because we were playing a really bad team in the Raptors, and B, a really undersized team in the Raptors that were missing three starters. So, context matters, Mac. And like, against some of the better teams in this league, we can't rely. Like, there's a reason why Sadiq Bey has never scored that many points all season long until we played the Raptors that were down, to G League players pretty much. So that's concerning. Like, I'm happy he made most of his opportunity. He scored 26 points on us, got double digit rebounds, but he's not going to be effective if he's not doing what his primary role is, and that is hitting open threes. He is still struggling mightily, like mightily, and I don't know when this slump is going to last. Like, it could be very possible that we don't see him shoot, anything close to what he did last season for the remainder of the season. So that's all I wanted to chime in. I digress. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, man. I feel like you got to give him his flowers. Obviously, he hits the game winner, drops 26 points, but as you mentioned, was 0 of 6 from three, and actually has one of the lowest percentages. I think it maybe even the lowest percentage in the league for 50 plus attempts from the corner for 3 point percentage. Like that's what we signed him for. That's what he's supposed to be doing. He's clearly, shooting those shots at a high clip. He's just not making them. And you know what? I know we probably shouldn't be listening to any of these talking heads, peanut gallery, whatever you want to call them, on Twitter after every single game. But sometimes it does get a little annoying when, Sadiq Bey finally has a good game and they come at you and they're like, "Oh, don't you see how valuable Sadiq is now?" Well, where the hell has that been the last 3 weeks, man? It's an 82 game season. Like, you can't just have one good game every 2 months and then all of a sudden he's a valuable player in the league. Like, that's just not how it works. But like you said, man, it's you highlighted at one point the inefficiency on offense is what absolutely blows my mind, because if you go look at all of the offensive stats for the Hawks, we are honestly top 10, top 5 in so many of them. So many of them. And you're like, "Wow, this is really encouraging, man." So let me read some of these. So we are 8th in field goal made, 1st in field goal attempted, 24th in field goal percentage. We are 8th in 3-point made, 7th in 3 points attempted, 19th in 3-point percentage. It's mind-boggling, man. Like it makes no sense to me that we aren't getting up as many shots as we're getting up any shot we want at the end of the day with that many field goals attempted. It really doesn't matter. But you're basically bottom 5 in percentage. It's just blows my mind, man. I don't understand it. I thought these were things that were supposed to be fixed in this system and fixed with some of the players that we signed last year and the players that we were supposed to be emphasizing in the offense. But it is what it is, man. Another interesting stat that I think is so hilarious. We are first in offensive rebounds in the league, but 25th in defensive rebounds. Well, I think that stat is a little inflated because of Clint Capella, and I really do mean no disrespect to this whatsoever, but Clint Capella leads the league in offensive rebounds for a reason, and that's because that man has absolutely no touch around the rim and just sits there and plays tip ball with himself. Basically, he'll get 4 offensive boards in one possession sometimes because he misses 3 or 4 shots in a row, which is just not good basketball, guys. If you're a box score watcher, you're gonna see that and be like, "Oh, look at him! He's getting all these boards." It doesn't matter, man. It does absolutely nothing for us. So I don't know, man. It's gotten to a point where the stats just keep every single one you read. All right, so here's another one. 4th in total points scored. We have a top 5 offense, 29th in points given up, which is there's 30 teams in the league, guys. So do the math on that one. It's so crazy to me. And honestly, what blows my mind is there's always going to be teams that are top 5 offense, bottom 5 defense in the NBA. There's going to be at least one team like that every single year. Well, there's another team right there with us that's in both of those categories, top 5 offense and bottom 5 defense, and that's the Indiana Pacers. And guys, they're 7 games above 500. We're 8 games below 500. Explain to me how that works. So I truly don't know what it is at this point, man. Two more little stats real quick, and this is honestly just trying to say that if you think that this is not even a winning product, because it's clearly not a winning product, but a profitable product, whatever you want to call it, we are 26th in attendance right now, 26th, which is mind blowing to me. I would have never guessed that. I feel like we've been top 5 the last 3 or 4 years. So um, and I'm really just bringing up that stat to just say, like, guys, there are things that need to be fixed here, and I just feel like
Absolutely.
we're just getting stuck in this perpetual wheel of not wanting to change anything because it's I don't know. It's I'm obviously like you, Alex, venting a little bit, and just at this point, I just want to see better days, man. I thought they were around the corner, and maybe they're a little further than we thought. So it's yeah, that's where we're at.
Bro, it's crazy because yeah, when you look at the games, like I'm surprised even there's still that many fans that go to the games. I mean, we just it's it's been a horrible season. Like given the context and all the expectations that we had going into this season, right? Quinn Snyder finally have an off season with him. The DeJounte Murray, Trey Young backcourt experiment has a real coach at the helm. The emergence, us being super high on, Jalen and AJ and all the younger guys and things like that. Maybe this is the year that DeAndre Hunter and um, other players kind of take that full leap. But yeah, I mean, we saw it firsthand, Mac. We literally had a preseason article come out right before the season started, and we all gave our predictions, right? I think you were a little bit more modest with your prediction, but I said, hey, I think we're going to win 50 games. I think we're going to be a top 4 seed in the East, this and that. I said Trey Young was going to be an MVP candidate, and boy, was I wrong, right? We are what almost 10 games under 500 at this point. Trey, he's playing great, but definitely not near the MVP caliber race type of ladder that we were hoping for. I was hoping for. The only thing I got right was bogey six man and Jalen Johnson MIP, Bogey's cooled off a lot though, so maybe his six man of the year campaign isn't as strong as it once was. But hey, the Jalen Johnson MIP agenda is still alive and well. But yeah, man, with all the expectations that we had going into the season, this is very disappointing. I can't think of a season as disappointing as this one, just given the high hopes, the expectations, the new coach, the new system, etc. And here we are, man. I don't know. It's tough.
Oh yeah, no, man. I remember at media day back in September, both of us sitting there, man, just along with the rest of the reporters, man, bright eyed, just excited for a new coach and a new culture and a just winning basketball. I think everybody kind of felt the same. I didn't think anyone necessarily thought we were going to be in the NBA finals this next summer, but I think everybody kind of felt like, all right, we're the Hawks are building something here, man, and it just like you said, it's just been an incredibly disappointing season. And it happens, like you and I are both in our 30s now. We've been watching sports long enough. It happens. There's definitely seasons that you look back on for any sport, whether it's the Braves, Falcons, or the Hawks, where you're like, man, wish I could forget that one. So, it happens, and that's ultimately what this season will probably end up being. It's just a very forgettable season for us Hawks fans. And that's just it is what it is, man. So I think at this point the what we can salvage most out of this season is, honestly, with the lottery, you can never really do this in the NBA, but try and position ourselves to get a better draft pick. I know that's something, tanking, right? Like, I'm not saying tanking, but like, come on, guys, I know it doesn't happen as much in the NBA, but don't be winning meaningless games in mid-April if we're already well out of the playoffs, right? So, which I did think it was funny yesterday. We were technically 10th, so we were right in the play-in, but then Brooklyn won last night, so now we're 11th, and that's just so fitting, just so fitting. But yeah, man, I don't really know what else to say at this point. When it comes to the Hawks in their current state, I will say this. You know, there are still things that we can hang our hat on when this season is done. As you just mentioned, the Bogey and Jalen, right? Like both those guys, especially Bogey, because he at this point, man, Austin Reeves could go out there and just crap his pants every single game, and I think he would still win it. I don't know why his odds are always the highest to win it, no matter what point in the season. But he is the media darling. I guess I get it, but both those guys could still win those awards if they, really ramp it up here the last few months of the season rather. Probably a stretch, but could still happen. And look, man, if Jalen Johnson is at least a finalist for most improved player, and that's something that we can at least go into next season being like, hey guys, we clearly have, somebody that could very well be a superstar in this league in Jalen Johnson along with Trae Young. If Trae Young is here for the long haul, I think that is to yet to be determined. But um, it's crazy, man. And me just saying that just now, I would have never thought I'd ever say that. But after this season, I'm not saying Trae's going anywhere necessarily. Just saying that, I think you kind of have to reassess almost everything at this point when it comes to the Atlanta Hawks. So it's a strange time, man, but we're gonna get through it.
Yeah, we always do, Mac. That's the beauty of it. And hey, as we're both older and what I like to believe, we're mature, right? We're fairly mature. Can't say that about myself, at least maybe 7, 8 years ago. But hey, as I'm about to be 31 in what less than 2 weeks, I've realized now that no matter how much I love a team, no matter how passionate I am about a team, whether it's the Hawks or the Braves or the Falcons, is at the end of the day, I always remind myself, and this might be a good little advice to all the listeners out there. No matter how you feel, no matter all the emotions that you have, whether it be happy or anger or sadness, etc., at the end of the day, nothing you do or say or feel is going to affect the outcome of this team or whatever team you're supporting, right? At the end of the day, these guys get paid millions of dollars and they could give two shits about what you or me or anyone else has to say. So, hey, as I've gotten older, I've learned to detach myself from more of the emotional things of sides of sports fandom. But hey, it's hard, you know. Still, I still get upset. Like I'm saying this now, Mac, but like literally in the heat of the moment when I'm watching the games, you know, I'll slam something, I'll hit a table, I'll throw a cup, you know, I'll cuss at the TV screen in the heat of the moment. But it usually lasts about 5 minutes, and then I'm over it. In the past, I think it would linger for like a few days, maybe even a week or so, if we really like, you know, had a really bad loss. But hey, I'm older now, I'm more mature. It doesn't affect me as much. So hopefully I can continue that mindset as we finish the remaining of the season, because I feel like it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better.
I could not agree with you more on that last part, my friend. But I appreciate that for myself and all the listeners as well, man. That little moment of Zen by Alex, brought to you by the Hawks Fan TV podcast. So thank thank you so
Exactly.
much for that, man.
Of
But yeah, no,
course.
you're exactly right, guys. It's hard not to be emotional when it comes to sports, especially when you can spend as much time, money, and effort as some of us will on these teams. But as Alex said, especially on the professional level, remember that these guys are, you know, most, especially in the NBA. Okay, let's be real. Most of them are very rich and really could care less if you are upset about them, you know, not getting that extra rebound or whatever it may be. Okay. So, um, but yeah, no, that's our life lesson for the day. We will actually wrap up the episode on that. We'll let you guys know that going forward, we are going to do a little bit different of a format. As I was kind of getting at towards the beginning of the episode, our lives have gotten a little more hectic with our schedules and whatnot. So the weekly recap is probably going to be retired for now. And what we're going to do going forward is we're going to be picking like highlighted storylines, whether that is Trae Young being snubbed as an all-star, or if we, you know, we're doing this earlier in the season, Jalen Johnson, you know, breaking through and coming into his own and all of that. So be on the lookout for those. They'll be coming out probably bi-weekly, and they should be really fun, guys. It's going to be deep dives into the storylines. We're going to have really cool stats, and hopefully can even get some really cool guests on at some point for those as well. So be on the lookout for those. Be on the lookout for all of our content as well at HawksFanTV.com. That's where you'll find our articles and other cool things as well. Be sure to follow us on Twitter/X and Instagram at HawksFanTV. That's where you'll find all of our post-game and pre-game spaces. I know Alex will do pre-game every now and then. Actually, Alex will even just, I've been at work and I'll get the notification that a space will start. So Alex be doing these spaces at any time, guys. So definitely be on the lookout for those. And as always, thank you guys for the support. We're going to keep it coming.
Of course.
All right, guys, go Hawks, and we'll see you next time.